Nobody cares. There's people waiting.
There are people waiting, and now we are live. Hello, everybody.
The people are no longer waiting. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, chat. Welcome to What's Up? How you doing? So, you be playing Deathloop.
Yes.
You already got some good shit.
Yeah, no, I discovered very quickly that I like having purple weapons.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
All right, let me see.
So, we'll just start here because we're here. How much Deathloop you been looping?
I think I'm on my fifth or sixth loop, I want to say.
That's pretty good.
Probably. I don't know if is there actually like I haven't seen like a stats page anywhere.
No, I don't know if there's an actual, maybe like at the end of the game when you do all the things. I feel like that's probably about as many through as I did.
It's like I've yeah, I want to say like
maybe more. I don't know.
Like
Sometimes
like
the
four,
loops,
like 4
you
to
can go by the
6.
loops pretty fast sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Deathloop is an interesting game. If you guys don't remember, I played it right when it came out and put a decent amount of time into it, but I kind of fell off because once you get the hang of the core mechanics, it is inherently a loop game. You do a lot of the same shit over and over trying to get it just right.
I can kind of agree
So
with
I
that,
kinda
but
fell off.
like I am like having a decent time. Like not once I actually got the residuum, which
Yes.
you know, turns this from a turns this less of a roguelike game, which
Yeah.
I'm never
No,
a fan of. But
I think I mentioned a lot of these mechanics when we first did it. It starts off, you know, with a lot of story setup and a lot of hard resets, but then you get into doing some stuff, and I see you've been doing pretty well. You've got a handful of them powers.
I had one more, but my last loop I didn't have enough to keep it.
Chad, I need you to tell me if you can hear me, because YouTube's yelling at us about the audio again.
I'm looking at all the bars. They are moving.
Yeah, that should be fine, but as usual, when YouTube gets fussy, I like to just check. There are like 4 of you watching at least, maybe more. Sometimes it's different. You might be tabbed out. Okay, Aaron says he can hear us, so we're good.
I am mad.
Alright,
The
so
one loop that I actually lost had a fucking Aether upgrade that I really fucking wanted it. So mad.
Yeah, that do be how it like. But yeah, so you go through, you know, your first couple of setups, and then the game gives you all the mechanics, and you basically can start keeping things. And then, you know, you start to actually work on getting your guys beat up and stuff, figuring out where everybody is. But once you get into the meat of actually having mechanics, well, it is true you do get to keep things. Like I said, I just kind of fell off because, I don't know, there was other games happening, and it's definitely, like I said, it's not quite doing the same thing over and over again because you do get to keep stuff in advance, and boy, how do you get a lot of trinkets and stuff. You get a lot of those. But I think for me it was just, you know, the staring at the setup for like, okay, if I want to do anything, I got to get like 4 guys together and get them all and do the thing.
I mean, I think
That's a lot of work.
I think I'm actually enjoying that a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I don't want to say that the game is bad. Like I said, I put a lot of hours into it very rapidly, which I do with a lot of games I like, and then usually for me, for longer games, I end up plateauing after a while, and then I'm like, okay, I got to take a break. And sometimes that break, you know, lasts like 2 weeks, and sometimes it lasts like a year. Like I don't know if people remember this, but I plateaued on FF7 Remake, a game that I fucking love, but I still played the shit out of it for like a week, and then I was like, "Ooh, baby, I'm playing this game too much. I'm getting, you know, fucking stopped by weird scorpion tail guys too much. I need to take a break." And played some other stuff. I should probably get back to Deathloop sometime, but I'm playing games right now I don't want to level out on. I will say I don't feel like I'm plateauing at all on Judgment. Like when I don't want to do story content in Judgment, or because it's late, or I don't know, I have to go cook dinner so I can be ready to do the show, I'm like, well, I can just go play a couple rounds of darts, scratch some stuff off. But yeah, so overall, to tie back to Deathloop for a little bit, in general, you've been having a positive experience. That's good.
Yeah, no, like I wasn't sure about how it was gonna be when I first started out, but okay, so I do got juiced up still.
Yeah, because you. When did you start playing Deathloop?
Last night. I was
Okay.
gonna play like Payday 2 or something, but Loth was at the beach, so I was all like, all right, I don't want to fucking do this shit by myself.
Sure.
And I didn't know what Axe
Seems
was
good.
doing.
Probably playing Final Fantasy 14.
Probably.
But yeah, so I remember when the game came out. I obviously, like I said, I played it right away. But both of us were interested in this game when it was coming out. But it was the game that was marketed to death.
Yes.
Arcane and I think even Sony spent a lot of money doing very similar looking trailers over and over. Fundamentally, the gameplay is very good, and it's got a very interesting, complex, and I don't even know what the hell you would call this setting, right? Like,
This is like the fucking 60s British fucking. God, I don't even want to remember what that fucking.
yeah, like it's very like 60s mods in Britain, or like 70s, Art Deco pop. But there's also like a lot of weird like Soviet brutalist architecture. You know, it's very weird is what it is. The game is just weird and oddball, and I don't really know what the hell to call it, but it's certainly unique.
All right, it's morning. What the fuck do I want to do? I don't want to try and fight Frank again because fucking his system removes my fucking thing. But let me see here. And I did get the thing to do that, so let me.
I probably still have my save data. I should check how many hours.
Let's go to
I
the
put into
complex. Silence Igor's device.
Because if you say you've done like between 4 and 6 full loops in like a day of playing, I played it for like a couple of weeks. I definitely did more than that, but it doesn't feel like it,
Well, all the like, can I? I don't know. I guess it depends on like what you're trying to.
Yeah, like I said, if you know what what goals you're focused on, you can go through some loops very fast. If you're like looking for somebody who's only at night or something.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time like wandering around really.
No, I feel like at times the game wants you to do that, but in general, there's got a lot of goals that you can just be like, oh, well, I need to go figure out what's up with this character next. I've scratched off everybody off the list. Sometimes you can get a lot of stuff done at once. Other times you have to, wait up, and so long as you've got some residuum to go on, it doesn't super matter.
Let's see here. If this is...
And I assume you don't have any complaints about the core gameplay, the shooting and stuff.
A little bit on the weapon selection. I love my fucking nail gun, but I am really irritated that this is like the one silenced weapon I get.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there are some. It's either like unique boss weapons, or there's some rare pickups you can actually get, like pistols that have silencers. Probably get a like silenced sniper rifle. But you are right. The game is very much like, here is your one stock silenced gun. If you want to stealth, you got to do that, or you got to like run and hide a lot. I'm pretty sure at some point,
this is for my
I got some kind of
moment.
other silenced weapon, but yeah, no, that's it's a very good machine gun. Or is it a shotgun with a panda magazine? I don't remember.
Whoa.
It's a big gun. Oh, got some weird shit.
Don't touch me.
But yeah, but it's got the the Arcane and Bethesda core, weird shooty game, weird FPS vibes. Prey was a very tight game to play, so this is similar in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Other than obviously you're playing it right now, anything else you want to say about Deathloop?
The character interactions between just Colt in general gives me life.
Yep.
Let's keep a late shift, huh? Oh, that must be it. But like I said, I like the interaction between Colt and Juliana, and I actually do like the personalities of all the visionaries as well. It's like they don't necessarily feel super flat. I mean, they're not the most developed. They are literally there for you to kill them, but some of them have secrets. Some of them are fucking weird.
Yeah, they're like the 8 or whatever core characters. So there's some depth in there.
Oh wait, if I remember correctly, there should be. Nope, it's locked.
It's good. I was pretty sure. I mean, from trailers and stuff, you knew, but I was always pretty sure you would enjoy Cole and his sassification.
Okay, so I can't open it. Fuck.
Yeah, I think it's open at night for sure.
It is. It is. Like I usually like if I have nothing to do at night, I will go over. Do I have the key code for this? Oh wait, no, that's the key code to get out. Oh man, it's right underneath this fucking base. Jesus. Okay. I need to remember that. God, that saved me so much fucking time. Instead of going through
Autofill
fucking,
is great, by the way.
instead of going through all the fucking minefields he puts out here at night.
Yep. Nope. Those tunnels suck.
Let's see here. Wait, what if I just like shoot it? No, it says I need to go here. Can we get roof access? We can't interact with that. Okay, I'm a little nettled. Well, maybe it's maybe I should have found the fucking code and then came back. I don't know.
There's definitely something you can do here to get in early. I mean, you might be able to just kick in the windows, but then you got to go through the lasers. Yeah. Which will trigger an alarm.
Ow. Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Do it again.
Do it again. Get my hack-a-jig.
You know, probably should have a more technical name, but Colt doesn't give a shit.
Nope.
It hacks.
All right, there we go. Problem solved. It's a laser light show in here, bitches. Your weapon makes noise. Also, shout out to... Wow, this dude got a lot of alarm clocks. Hey, what's that?
There's a lot of time going on.
Post-midnight prank. Scanner's not trapped. Dubious.
Most of the Visionaries are very weird and obsessed with all their nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, wait, there was a fucking... roof thing. The fuck?
I mean, I definitely feel like if I scrub back in the footage, that wasn't open a little bit ago. It felt like it was just a solid roof.
Alright, let me see. New messages, mini phone.
I mean, you still would have had a rough time if you fell in through there, because that would have not given you a line of sight on the turrets.
Yeah. Okay, that's that, that's that. Okay, I gotta fuck with this experiment. Somehow. How do fuck with experiment, though? Played that already. Let me go down here. Oh, hi. Thank you, Hack-a-Jig. Yoink. I think there is something I will say that probably bugs me. I don't like the fact how I can't break down items in the field. I have to go back to my home base.
It's true. It is, after all, a roguelite, so there are some stuff that is, you know, kind of that you gotta work in between your runs for certain resources.
Yeah, and you know, with the thing of only being able to oh, hi. With only able to hold like 3 guns and 2 of the slabs, as they are called, it means that, you know, if I want to bring back something, I have to give up something. And if you drop something in a field, if you have it you know, residuum in your arsenal, it'll just pop back in your arsenal when the loop's done. But if you toss it for oh, interesting, maybe I could have came, nah, it doesn't look like it's high enough. But if I had come through if I drop an item that I use a lot of times earlier, well, then it's just gone for the rest of that loop.
Yep.
And like I said, I have some fairly decent guns. Like I think purple is the 3rd tier, and there's 4 tiers with legendary weapons being like you know, special.
It's
unique
the
things.
classic looter shooter, you know, tier list.
Mm-hmm.
You've got purple and then you've got orangey.
Yeah. So like, I would have been able to appreciate if even if it's just like, you know, for reduced, you know, gains, just be able to break things down immediately. Oh, I already read that.
Think there's a thing you can get. I don't remember if it's a story thing or a unique thing to break down like trinkets or something into just their residuum cache like right away. I feel like I again, it's been a while since I played, but I feel like that is a thing I could do. Is if I found like certain trinkets, I could be like, nah, turn this into residuum right now. I don't know if that worked with weapons though.
All right, where's that fucking thing again? It was on the. Yeah, it says
Look at
go
all the doors, look at all
here.
the guys. Another thing I appreciate is that the loops and the daytime slots are purely mechanical. It will never not be morning. While you're in the morning map, you have to leave.
Yeah. I forgot.
Juliana will eventually show up if you stay in one place way too long to chase you out, but in general, you
I have never had a problem with Juliana. Aether and a fully automatic shotgun solves a lot of problems.
yeah. Are you playing offline?
Yes. Hell no, I'm not letting randos come in here and try and fucking
No,
kill
I did.
me.
I did that as well. And AI Juliana is usually not too hard. I've done a couple attempts just for the extra stuff to try the mode where you play as Juliana to find other players online.
Oh. A feature, not a bug. Maybe this is it.
This is another one of those. Like I said, this is by the same team that brought y'all the new Prey and stuff. So there's a lot of reading involved. You read a lot of memos, chat. They're good memos, though.
Oh. Okay, I get it now. I gotta grab one of these. This is one of the... That's not what I wanted. I wanted the one where I fucking... Come on. Carry. Alright, let's roll. This is something that I do enjoy, like... While you do have waypoints, you do actually have to find the proper information. Like...
Yeah.
It told me I needed to go here, but it didn't tell me why I needed to go there. So I had to go find a note that told me about the nullifier, and thankfully the nullifiers are right there. But,
And then once you found it, the game is nice enough to be like, okay, cool, this is the thing you can use. For that, anyway. But it doesn't, you know, necessarily... Huh? I can give you code, okay.
I am the future, Igor.
And Axe, I don't know about that. I don't remember hearing anything about that. And if they did, it doesn't matter. Clearly, all the work they did was done already. Because, like I said, it's very much... I mean, the tone is very different. A lot of the themes are different. You know, I guess if I had to say thematically, like... Prey was a lot about, like, you know... ethics and understanding the psyche and, like, you know, transhumanism and stuff. Deathloop is more just about, like, classic Groundhog Day shit. Hey, what if you had to do the same day over and over again? What if you'd already done the same day over and over again and had to deal with all the same people all the time? What would you do? You know. As very early in the game, while Cole can't fucking remember it, you do very quickly find out that he used to be head security man. And clearly, he's not anymore. Because they keep trying to fuck with you.
Oh, Wenji. Holmes! Hi.
The classic sneaking gameplay. Who be doing that? Don't be doing that. You're dead.
I find it hilarious
like I
that
said-
this gun can carry more rounds. I can load more rounds in this gun that I can actually carry. Something I kind of enjoy. I think I enjoy is you're not given huge ammo pools to carry around. Seems like a very small number, and I'm okay with that personally.
Yeah, it's about... I mean, every zone is basically self-contained, right? Time moves on when you leave an area. And then when you go all the way to the evening and finish it, then the day is over and you reset.
Mm-hmm.
So, like everything is made to be semi-self-contained. So yeah, you don't carry a lot of ammo between maps, but usually there's enough pickups on like guys or whatever to fill you in. So it has a very good, economy between, map goes and doing stuff. And like you said, usually you feel like you're doing something. You can stockpile residuum, you can, preserve your items by tagging them and stuff, and you can keep finding notes and things.
I love sniping.
Just look at this again, and I appreciate all the heft and the weight to a lot of this stuff. Those are some very good. It's a very chunky reload of that breech loader. You're only loading in one shot, but you know it's a big deal because you have that very meaty
like...
break and then heavy load.
So yeah, I don't care if they're not home. I need to figure out how to get to the Halps.
Sometimes you don't want to be here when somebody's not home, game. Trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, that's
it's very hard to figure shit out when they're home because they try to kill you.
Already got full ammo.
Yeah, no. One of the things you have to go through this lab, which is full of Wengies.
Yep, I remember that one.
Please note plural.
Oh yeah, no. There's a lot of weird science going on here, chat.
Actually, let me see. Laboratory annex.
Like, I feel like the island complex here, the island, it's very much got a vibe like, hey, what if we had BioShock, but instead of being, Art Deco 1920s or 30s Gilded Age shit, what if it was just the 70s? So there's a lot of, fucked up, weird, dumb shit because everybody lives forever.
Lives forever and
looping.
don't remember a single day of it. Well, I take that back. They remember a single day.
Yeah. They remember everything leading up to this, but they do the same shit all the time. I think, I'm trying to remember, and obviously trying not to accidentally spoil anything, but I don't think I remember anything big. I don't think there's any implication there. Like, I feel like only Juliana and Cole can remember, but Cole only remembers after a point, and also specifically doesn't remember anything before the loop started. Cole got the reverse brain fuckling.
I have theories about that already because, like, again, they do that thing where they like to put in their clues every which way.
Yeah. Well, and chat can already see on screen one of the major mechanics of the game, which is fucking somebody is writing to you from other timelines and places, leaving you messages which just appear in your field of vision. Like that. Hotel Wenji, cold and lifeless.
Aha! This light might let me get in.
But yeah, I think, chat, you can see the decent slice of the gameplay. You do some crouch sneaking, you can melee, you can shoot people, you can carry a couple different guns. I don't think Lucky's really showed off his slabs yet, but
No,
I think you stealthed earlier.
Oh, is that a crank? There is a crank wheel. Okay. Wait, what's this?
But you hack things with your hack-a-majig, and you read a lot of notes, and sometimes play audio logs.
I touched your crank, Wenji. How does that make you feel?
If I remember, Wenji's probably not happy.
Wenji's never happy.
I feel like Wenji's enough of a lunatic control freak to have time copied themselves so that they can do more work. So.
Alright. Because as much like this game is just as much investigation as it is combat. So.
Yeah.
You gotta go around. You gotta touch things. You gotta move things. You gotta look at notebooks. Sometimes you gotta go find
It's a really strong formula for this type of game, and honestly, this is why, for instance, I'm not really upset that, like, I know some people made that joke at the Game Awards about, Ken Levine's been working on a new game for like 5 years, and it turned out to just be BioShock again. But like, there's a reason why this formula is popular. Like, I would say that in terms of gameplay, right, even though it's not made by the same company, Deathloop is very much in the same genre as BioShock, right? Like, weird shooters. You deal with like lots of weird science stuff. There's some puzzles and things. You get lasered a little bit. You have weird magic powers. Was that just to fuck with you? To fuck with somebody.
Oh, it's messing with the sensors. Wild.
Interesting. Turn sensors into laser beams. Perhaps you can use that to construct some kind of elaborate death trap.
Oh, I probably am gonna have to. Okay. So
See,
because
that's the thing, Chad.
this is the thing.
The game implies, I don't because I never got that far to get all of them in one run, but it implies that you can break the time loop by destroying all of the visionaries in one day. This means you have to do a lot of things to arrange them to be at the same place at the same time, and sometimes construct elaborate traps using your time bullshit knowledge with which to defeat them.
Oh yeah, no. I figured out how to get Charlie, Funtime Montague, and Fia in the same area. Like I figured that out.
Yeah.
So that's an afternoon deal though. And I figured out how to get Igor to Alexi's party at night. That means I still got 4 fucking people I need to like kill in the I think I'm gonna have to get Wenji to fucking the party as well. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, I think it's... You probably gotta... Because you gotta have setup time, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think you need to do, like... How many visionaries are there? 8?
8.
Yeah, so you gotta stack, like... 3, 3, and 2. Or something. And I don't remember if you're supposed to have to kill a Juliana in the same time, because...
I think you might have to
Juliana's weird, because there's multiple of her. Juliana has come into contact with other Julianas and sends herself to deal with you. Some of the time you're not even speaking to your timeline's Juliana. Hence the asymmetric multiplayer element. Which was really, really played up in the trailers and the marketing, but isn't really that big of a deal. I suspect it was added just because asymmetric multiplayer was really cool while this game was in development. And if you don't know what I mean by asymmetric multiplayer, it's, Dead by Daylight and shit. Like he's discovering things.
Oh, I think I know what I need to do. I need a security turret, though.
Well, there's a few of those lying around.
Oh, wait. I think if I remember right, there's one... Wait, not here. Where... Wait, it's over here.
And by the way, so when you say you ask, is there a way to make the run? Do you mean like, is there a way to make it so that you get all of them in one day? Yes, that is the goal. To figure out a singular run of the loop, because that's the thing. When you do the time loop back to the start of the day, everybody springs back to life.
Yoink.
Hack that turret. Take that turret.
Like I said, this game has a good amount of combat and puzzle solving that I like, so... Like I said, like, I can spend time just, like, I'm completely okay with just spending times in lab going, yes, I see. Alright, let me see here. See if this works like I think it will.
Do some science.
Okay, let's do this.
Yes, YouTube, I noticed there's a little bit of buffering.
Okay, not quite. That turns that off. So maybe not. I think because I have to. I'm pretty sure I have to break something. I have to break this. I have to break this somehow. And if I remember what the thing says, yes, if I can redirect them to the battery station, it may blast itself free. But I can't. I can't. Wait, actually, what can I? Can I do anything with these things? Doesn't seem like it. Turd, I need you to calm down here. Hang on. Let's move you for a second here. You wait right here. Oh, okay. One's power, one's laser. Okay. fires the laser, that powers it. So if I do this one, the laser doesn't fire. Okay.
Rejuiced. Back to green light.
So what can I do?
Have you experienced some buffering there?
Change that. Does it have something to do with this stuff out here? That's a residuum experiment.
YouTube, are we sure about green light? Look, he's doing science right now, chat.
I am doing science. I don't want to break these because I'm pretty sure I need them, but I feel like I should be able to twist them or turn them somehow. Can I interact with anything
Maybe
else?
you didn't want to hack them so they would follow you around? Is that how that works?
Maybe. But I feel like that'd be a waste, honestly, of your time if you, like...
Yeah, it is possible to fuck some stuff up and have to reset, but not usually. It's more about, like, alerts and stuff than... I don't think I remember anything where if you accidentally, like, hack something. It's usually if you break something because it's trying to kill you. Sorry, chat.
Let me look at this note again here.
Slightly burned my fingertips making pizza today.
High
as I
repetition
usually
rate
do.
actuated light projection system. Can, like, you just resume option.
Helps. It's funny. Helps. Get it?
Can lights pass the object? Yes, but that's not the design. Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. It can't go through the residuum, so I think I do need to complete the fucking residuum experiment. But how do I do that?
Wheels within wheels, chat.
Alright, let me see here. Where was it? Here it is.
It's also an interesting thought, chat, to say that this
Handle this
game's
crank
art style
rise
makes you think of
across
Fire
axis.
Emblem Engage. I guess Engage is also kind of stylized in a different way, but...
Oh! Hang on.
Checking some out. Got to do with the crank. Engage is definitely a little bit of a weird one. I know I put it in the thumbnail
I
because
can't
people are
insert-
talking
okay, I
about it
can't insert
lately.
the crank. Okay. I need to put something in here.
Yeah, you
okay.
resisumify it.
Okay.
Is it... Oh, I'm trying to remember. Can you put any old thing in there? Is there a specific thing it needs?
Well, I think they want us to put the fucking crank in there. Bleh. Like so. But it's not letting me Let me see here. Afternoon to secure the material. Afternoon to secure the material for to requirement at my lab. So it might not be here at the lab. It might be somewhere else. Hang on. Can I...
Sorry, check out their chat. I'm watching the Audacity audio waves, and there are sometimes when Lucky's just talking to himself where the audio forms just like a tiny, rectangular bar. See, that actually has some resonance. It's funny. And when you're speaking, you're just speaking softly, like it registers kind of blocky. You try to just make a sound. There's variants. A sound. A swound. Swouse. Blah. Anyway, yeah, I was somebody in chat brought up Fire Emblem Engage. I was gonna say that game is still feels like it's coming at a weird time for me. I don't really feel super interested in it. I mean, the art style for the main character and for some of the past characters is a little weird, but I've seen images of the rest of the character cast and they seem okay and interesting. It does kind of seem like there are a lot of characters and there's a very arbitrary headcount limit, which is a thing that I believe as Lucky's talked about with Tactics Group sometimes. That's kind of annoying, the headcount limit. You got a lot of guys. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen the correct marketing for me to really get in the game. I'm seeing some early preview notes. People are saying that the gameplay for Engage is really good. But the story takes a while to get going. The main thing though is that people compared it to Fire Emblem Awakening, which is one of the games I didn't play, so I don't know what that means and don't really have a frame of reference. So, I guess the other thing is that some people are saying that it doesn't play like Three Houses in that respect, and I'm kind of like, well, that was the modern Fire Emblem I really put a lot of hours in, so I don't know. I guess we'll, see what people are saying once NDA is over and it's all the way out,
Mhm.
and like maybe people in our community can talk about it. But it's not an immediate pickup for me.
No, not for me either.
I need to go back and finish Pokemon. I've been playing Hades instead on my Switch, and only getting slightly tickled by the fact that my Joy-Con drifts a little. I have only once accidentally misbought something at Karen's shop.
Okay, so I need to pick up something from the lab, I think. Bring it here. Complete the experiment, and that might be give me what I need to do it. But unfortunately, I don't think I can access that lab. I was hoping it would let me connect from here, but I think this area won't become open until later.
I definitely feel like there's a way to get into Wenji's lab without them all being there.
Wait,
But
no, this
that might
is,
require like a
is there a
passcode or
power?
something.
Yeah, let me see here.
There is a lot of platforming and explorating in this.
Woo! Hello.
Even one of your slab abilities is mobility based.
Yeah. Again, I'm a little nettled that I can only have 2.
Yeah, the game is very. I mean, obviously, this is the thing that is the holy grail of game design these days, which is play it your way and actually mean it. Like a lot of games try and do that ethos, and it doesn't work out. We've talked about this off and on with several game titles over the years. I think Deathloop does a decent job. Like, if you want to be sneaky, you can be sneaky, and if you don't want to be sneaky, you can just load yourself up on the thing that makes you invincible and, carry only shotguns and machine guns and murderize everybody. But yeah, the fact that the slab abilities are so limited, when you know that there are a lot of them, it definitely makes some of your progression a little harder because you only have so many slots you can use.
Yeah, and
obviously,
your fucking your reprise ability, that's locked. You can't get rid of that, which, I'm grateful for. It helps me a lot, but it's like, because you can have 3 guns and you have 3 slab abilities, but one's always going to be your fucking reprise. And I'm just like, I'm not for
Cole's
those.
particular special slab ability.
All these doors.
But yeah, they probably could have given you the full 3 slots and then just kept reprise separate. I don't know, but
I think this is it. Okay,
Need to switch the generator over.
that's what it is. All right, I know where I need to go. I gotta figure out what this door is, though. I don't know which one is. I'll figure it out, though. Because the
And
complex
once
does have a power generator, and I do know how it works. It's gonna just take me some fucking time.
And again, shout out to this game design for, like, there's no time limit on any of this. Like, you can be here for as long as you like, and it's not gonna actually go to the next period of day till you leave.
Let me in.
Let him in.
Actually, which one did I say? Oh, I brought
But Chad, I hope you can see what I was talking about with, like, the weird aesthetics of this game. Like, there's all this blocky industrial shit. Combined with, like, there's the health machine shaped like a giant pill. I'm pretty sure there's something special about this island, just why they settled here. I did some of the mystery solving to, like, hear weird records of military stuff going on at this base, but damn, they picked a cold-ass place and a cold-ass day to, lock themselves in a time loop for all eternity, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, heckin', oh, yeah, I'm gonna need that, yoink. Hecking, the afternoon of every day is just a fucking snowstorm every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the excuse for why you can't just leave the island anyhow, is that the water is so freezing cold that you, Cole, will fall in and die. Just to keep you on your toes. But yeah, like, they were not necessarily, as smart as the Visionaries are, they're not necessarily the brightest of the bunch.
All right, so that's
Like, he's got a battery pack. He's gonna plug some shit in.
Yes, the complex, good. If I send power to the complex, it should allow me to open up the doors in the night.
I hit the switch, but nothing happened.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
It's like, thanks to trinkets, I turned this pistol into a sniper rifle.
Yep.
battery for a generator?
You haven't read the fucking manual.
Ah,
A power
this is a good time to
generator
use Nexus, by the way.
to generate. Unbelievable.
Man, look at those guys just minding their own business.
Nexus links people's minds together, so if you kill one of them, you kill both of them. It's very nice.
Yeah, I think, again, this is part of the problem. I think all the slab abilities are actually pretty fun from what I remember. It's just the fact that you can only carry 2, so you either have to spec for what you're doing in particular, or you just pick the whatever ones, you know, you feel the best about playing with.
I think I
But
only
it's a
need-
solid game.
I think I only need 2 to start up the
What does that just
generator.
say up there? Murder fields?
Something like that, I don't know.
There's a lot of messages, chat. I'll definitely at least have to boot up my death loop and figure out where the heck I was myself. See about the gameplay, but probably not immediately, because, like I said, got other stuff going on. I'm doing pretty decently into Judgment. We're in Chapter 7 now. So about, you know, like I said, around the half-ish way mark. Having a good time.
Oh, here come people.
Like I said, all the Yakuza style, you know, games that Yakuza does are like that, but the games are designed to be very, very meaty, very dense, but not like in a required density. It's not like a linear RPG or you know, whatever. They are. I mean, I don't want to necessarily say they're open world games, because a lot of people will assume if they don't know based on that, because open world games have kind of changed, but they are definitely like open world games in the sense that like the GTA games are open world games, right?
Right.
You know, you have a cityscape. Kamurocho is a little tighter packed than most, but it's very authentic for that, and the fact that it's, you know, a neighborhood in a Japanese metropolis. It's actually set in Tokyo, but you know, it takes its cues from several other cities. Like, they can get a lot into that space because that is actually how a lot of Japanese cities are. They are built up very dense, and while sometimes early on I was confused by the geography, you know, you kind of get used to looking for the signs for like, oh, you know, what's this? Oh, there's an elevator? What's on these different floors, you know? And sometimes there's nothing on those floors. Like, I have found quite a few businesses or offices you can just walk into that don't really seem to do anything. I assume those are for, some of them are for, you know, side case events and stuff.
Mhm.
Some of them I think are just for fluff. Like, they just had space in a building to use. And you can occasionally find, like, random item spawns there and stuff. But it's a very well-made, you know, lived-in world. And obviously, Kamurocho's been the setting for a lot of their games, so it, you know, naturally feels very, very progressy. Not that I remember much about the geography from when I played you know, several hours of Kiwami 1.
Oh yeah, well, Kamurocho actually does change over the games. You know,
Yeah.
businesses go out. You know, some places get rebuilt. Like in
Yeah,
Yakuza 0, the Millennium Tower is not even there.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I remember that hearing about that plot point. The Millennium Tower isn't built yet because the empty lot where it will go is a major plot point in the game. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. For instance, in the first Judgment, the area of Little Asia is closed after a fire, so it's like all under construction and scaffolds.
Mm-hmm. All right, that should let me get into her lab. I hope.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And you talked about this a lot when you were playing the games. I definitely feel like the structure of Judgment hits a little bit different, you know. The games, I feel like, are definitely made to resonate with the audience, presumably, of the series, who would now, you know, be in, like, their 30s,
Mm-hmm.
which I now am. Still very weird to say that, but yeah, I'm 30 now. But Yagami's lifestyle definitely hits different. Like, you know, you think when you play a lot of video games, oh, it's all about the exciting stuff. But no, Yagami's just out here trying to live his best life, everybody. he can't afford. I assume he cannot afford rent on an apartment because he can, in story anyway, barely afford rent on his office. So, and again, some of that might just be the fact that he has a corner office with a window in Kamurocho, but it's at least on a side street. But still, it's not like he's hurting for work, and you get paid decently for jobs,
Mhm.
But it's just you sleep on your couch. He dresses in jeans and a leather jacket the whole time.
Oh
But
yeah,
you do
I
get a
remember.
free
I was
suit.
here before.
Yeah, this is the Wenji Lab Guts.
Yeah, I need to go up.
There's all kinds of fun, weird stuff here.
All right, now I'll see if I can find the damn thing I was talking about.
But it's just like I said, the game it has such that perfect lived-in setting because obviously some of it is just because the game rewards you for it. You've got the Kamado Go app to like track what stores you go to and what, but it's very genuine. What do I do when I get my ass kicked a little bit in a fight? I'm like, okay, I could just chug energy drinks, but that's boring. Where's the nearest restaurant? Have I eaten here yet? Is there some items I want to scratch off? Sure, we'll get some beef bowl. We'll get some ramen. Let's go to the sushi place.
Okay, maybe I can't go there. God damn it.
So. And you talked about this off mic the other day, but the eating scene in Kamurocho is great. I'm kind of surprised, but I guess it is supposed to be like it's a nightlife spot. There's a lot of people coming and going.
Nice.
Sneaky. And they just exploded. Sucks to be them. What the fuck were they carrying?
Those were the party clowns.
Ah. Yeah, it's got paints everywhere. Volatile paints.
Don't get greedy, Colt.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they can sustain some of that. There's like a couple of the fast food joints have 2 locations in Kamurocho. But I guess it works for them. I mean, Papo has like 5 locations, but they're a convenience store, so
Oh, the
I don't think it actually, matters that much.
Okay, so maybe I can't get into the lab. Heck.
Interesting.
Wait, there's someone up there. Let me try getting to the roof. I need you to get off the roof.
Get off that roof. Yep.
Oh, if I could get on that roof, but I don't have my double jump. Why do you only give me 4
separate
treatment
thing.
slots? Ah.
Yeah.
This is the thing I don't like about these horror games. Like, Cole is very squishy in this game. If you're under fire for more than a few seconds, you will just up and die.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I can figure out how to get up there.
And I think part of that obviously is supposed to fit the feel. This is definitely one of those games where like, I mean, every morning starts with Juliana getting on the fucking public address and being like, "Hey, BT Dubs, Cole's out. If you find him, shoot him."
Here we are on the roof.
So you are literally being attacked on all sides. But there's always something to be said for like the comfort level of the player. Obviously, you need to do thematic things like Cole is a man hunted. You got to, strategize. You got to think carefully and plan out your approaches.
Let me in.
But also that means that like usually you probably try and like grab things that, give you survivability and stuff. But that means you can't do things that give you mobility.
Yeah, you can only really make a build for like one thing, like.
Or if you go mobility, that means that when you get in a straight-up dust-up fight because of human error, because you will fuck up, you get fucking murderized. Yeah, I could have sworn... Obviously, you've done the Wenji boss fight before. Quote-unquote boss fight. It's not really that much. It's just,
Honestly, none of the Visionaries are really boss fights. They're just slightly stronger mooks.
Yeah. They're complex. And I assume because the game wants you to get several of them to group up, that's probably why. They're not supposed to be hard, 1v1. It's that in order to get this done in a reasonable time frame, you got to get them stacked up. But, yeah, I could have sworn there's a way to get in here later in the day. You do got to come back. Yeah, maybe you got to get Wenji and then do all this shit.
I don't know.
this part is the kind of thing where, like I said, I kind of fell off where you feel like you're doing stuff, but then you're like, oh, I didn't come here at the right time. I got to go back. It's not really a problem per se. It just kind of feels like sometimes you wasted a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like you
'Cause
said
now I-
earlier, the game's not really hand-holdy. It'll point you in the right direction, and it'll usually let you know if you need to be somewhere at a specific time. I don't know, maybe if you leave the area and you know, go back to the menu, it will let you know that you have to do this in the afternoon or whatever. Or whenever. But it also, like I said, it's very, and you brought up earlier, it's very vague. You know, it won't necessarily tell you literally you have to go do something unless you've, you know, found a specific clue that points it out. So there's definitely opportunities where you can just be like, no, I just goofed it. Just killing time. Well, you discovered a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I said, Judgment and the Commodore and Judgment feels very, very lived in and approachable. You know, I go get food. Like I said earlier, I was like, in real life, I had to make food before we got the show going because, you know, I'm out of some stuff. I need to go to the groceries, but, you know, got some different meals to plan. So, you know, cook some pizzas and stuff. Burn my fingers like I always do. But you know, I was like, okay, I only got a few minutes before I gotta, like, I have to stop and do this stuff because it will take me so much time to, you know, put a pizza in the oven and cook it. What do? Fuck it, I'll play some darts. You know, get some time to kill.
See you at the party, Igor.
Wait, that means I'm definitely, if I want to do all this, in the morning I have to come. At some point, I have to go to the complex to sabotage the party. But I can't do it in the afternoon, so that has to be a morning or a noon thing. Is Wenji here at noon? Well, let's try it again. Like, I got nothing much to lose. I haven't really gained anything.
And in Judgment, I haven't even gotten to the, like, all the mini games because there's a lot of arcade games you can play, chat. A lot. Obviously, because, you know, it's a Sega-made game, but there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's just because of engine improvements or what, but I feel like I'm, like, finally getting good at Crane Game.
Nice.
I haven't tried, like, all of the different machines, because, you know, I'm me. I obviously went for the cat machines first. Koronyan's very, very adorable.
Everyone still thinks it's the
And
first day.
obviously, when you go on dates with Sonic to the arcade, she wants the little dog plushes.
Profound.
So there's some of the stuff, like the Super Monkey Ball stuff, and some of the birds I haven't tried, but I feel like I've got at least a good grasp at, like, my spatial awareness for UFO catchers. And I do like that the game, you know, in your office, you can just display the shit you've won. It's good. You can display the things you get out of the literal gacha machines. Which, you know, Yagami can be like, ooh, gacha machine. I haven't played with these since I was a kid. Do I want to put in some yen? Sure. Though, hey, Lucky, did you go through Sana's dates? I assume you did.
Yeah.
Because you probably got all the trophies and stuff. Did you ever play darts with her?
Yes.
Okay. I assume you understand why I brought that up. Because she sharks you a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, I play some darts with my friends. They're pretty cool. Triple bullseye. I'm like, damn. I'm not that good at darts.
I am, actually.
I did crowdfund the better darts, but I mean, I'm decent at the concept of darts. I definitely feel like the way the mechanic works sometimes, it's I don't know if it's just, you know, how I'm holding the controller or stuff, but it feels like it gets a little wiggly on me.
Nah, I never have a problem. I always go for the triple 20.
It's a pretty good one, and I'm since upgrading the darts and stuff, you know, with smaller margins, I'm getting better. But it's definitely like I'm trying to like, okay,
Why is it
please
sticking out over
stop
here?
moving thumbstick.
Oh, wait,
I need to concentrate on getting the timing right.
Yes, I think I can.
The crowdfunding app is very fun though. you know, when you unlock a friend and he's like, here's our thing, quick starter. I was influenced by a foreign crowdfunding website. Just put a little bit of cash in. And you can do that. You can put a lot of cash in right away to do it fast, or just put in a little and it will build up. Whoop. Water's cold.
I'm a little mad, and I didn't like. It's very easy just to fall in, I guess. And I've already used up one of my revives. Yay!
I do think I did mention that earlier. Yeah, that's the thing. I get why it's supposed to be so cold. I don't like that the water's so cold it kills you like right here, literally. I assume it's because they just didn't want to program fucking swimming physics.
Something like that.
But guys, this game came out in what, like 2020, 2021, something like that. It's a couple years old now. Game designers, don't do instant death water. It really sucks. Make it be lava, or if you're gonna include water, come up with an excuse for better than it just kills you.
Honestly, they should have just made the whole area fucking frozen. Just make it ice. Just put it ice out to a certain distance. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some of that, so you have to do some platforming and some risk reward stuff, but in general, they could have iced over a lot of that and just let you walk, and it's not really that much of a difference. It's always one of them game design things, deciding when and where you need hazards. But yes, so I'm playing Judgment, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's a different time. It's been a little bit. I played it, like I said, 5-ish, 6-ish hours, maybe 10-ish hours of Kiwami 1. You know, got through 2 or 3 of the story chapters. I liked the game, and obviously they did a lot of different stuff for Kiwami and some very fun reads. You know, in Kiwami they introduced Majima everywhere, which isn't in the original Yakuza 1.
Mhm.
Which has so much great at least I don't remember if it was a rail shooter or not, but it was a weird, you know, survival-y type game. YouTube's giving me the yellow light again. That's weird.
Okay, so let's let me.
Need some buffery juice today.
Not letting me go again.
And I am noticing in the preview screen the video skips sometimes. That's weird. Chat, you guys seeing this too? YouTube's giving us a couple little blurbles about buffering. But it does seem to even out after a little bit, so.
Like, that's the control room, but.
And obviously I'm listening to Lucky on a Discord call, so even if the video skips around, it's not like I'm losing him.
Is it moving or not? I can't tell. I don't think it is.
You're asking the wrong people right now, Chief.
No, it doesn't look like
think
it.
it's anything.
So it's just staying still. Actually, what happens if I destroy this? Let's find out.
It's time to fuck around and find out.
Will it power through it? It's very hot. No, so it just goes straight through. Neat. Good to know. If I destroy this one, does it change anything? Nope. I have definitely probably fucked it up now, but experimentation is important.
Yeah. You're figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Lasers. Stuff both pan magazines back in the gun. Never mind, you fired like twice. Reload animations are an underappreciated art. But yeah, no. To wrap up some of my judgment thoughts there, just the game overall is very good with like how it paces out time and stuff. The access to side cases, whether those are jobs you actually take or where I have to make more friends so I can make more rep. Which, of course, is part of the small business owner deal, though.
Oh yeah.
Making friends and contacts in town, work with people. It all flows together really good, and you have a lot of fun time. I think you said this off mic yesterday when I was talking about it, that the Yakuza games in general are really good at like having these very deep, very dramatic, very relevant stories. I don't remember the details of when you finish the game on stream, but I remember some of the setting, and now that I'm into the into the actual plot relating with what our vibe is, it does. Actually, honestly, I think a good point to compare it to is it has a lot of that solid neo-noir structure, right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you took the same story beats, you could tell the same story with like as a archetype, for instance, of like the Dresden Files. Like, it has a lot of the same mystery beats, especially the earlier Dresden Files before Harry's office was blown up. And there was that time there was a giant scorpion in the elevator. But at the same time, for Yagami, right? Like, he's been attacked outside his building multiple times. There was a dead guy in his closet that one time. People ransacked his office. So it fits that neo-noir, level where, like, you'll very rapidly bounce back and forth between, okay, cool, we've got an actionable lead. What do we do? Turns out there's a whole shitload of Yakuza here to beat me up. Or, guess what? The cops want to arrest me for something I didn't do. I mean, I feel like nobody is trying very hard to actually stop Yagami. Because Yagami doesn't really do OPSEC, guys. He literally sleeps in his office and goes there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody really wanted to catch him, you would just constantly have a guy standing outside for whenever I need to go back to sleep or eat the food in my fridge and, get him that way. But he does at least occasionally remember to lock the office. Though, that's, speaking of game design things that are realistic but also funny, I'm not sure how I feel about the key remembering minigame. I did buy the skill that it tells you the key after you use it, but it's still like, really? Game? I need to remember my keys every time? I mean, I know that's very realistic. What kind of, lunatic keeps, 8 keys on one key ring, unless you're a janitor, but like, damn. I'm just trying to get back into my office. I don't even remember locking the office after I left. Did Kaito lock it?
Kaito might have locked it.
Kaito's a great guy. Good boy, Kaito. In general, though, you assemble a crew. I like that. Crews are good. You've got Kaito and his incredibly loud shirt to back you up. And you get, later you get the Jester. And you've got some backup. Hoshino helps you out with some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his little backpack. You meet friends around town. It's good. I understand why you, Lucky, like these games especially, but also I'm having a good time.
Ooh, deep pockets. Lock and load and load and load.
And like I said, it's got the slightly overdramatic but still very correct, like I said, like mystery TV show vibes. Like, the whole thing is, I mean, even ultimately being like 13 chapters, the whole thing is kind of structured like a TV season run, right?
Right.
You've got, your inciting incidents, your flashbacks and stuff. You've got your narration and inner monologue. You've got plenty of sexy saxophone. Yeah, it's real neato. I didn't get to play a super lot today, so I'm probably going to go back and play more of that after if the crew is around as well.
Yeah. By the way, I am getting a lot of messages from OBS saying, losing connection resets. Well, it is red right now.
Yeah, we're buffering a long time. The audio should capture most things, like I said, because I'm in a Discord call with Lucky. That's not, OBS or YouTube fucking up. Towards a Patreon, $1 and up. Get access to audio. But if it's being feisty today, we probably shouldn't linger too much long on anything. No need to faff around. But let me check my list of notes. Okay. Scratch that off. I could probably talk more in depth on judgment, but I might save that for just when I've beaten the first game and we can talk about everything. And also maybe when Lucky isn't trying to do science.
Well, I'm not about to go do science. I'm about to go commit violence. The opposite of science.
Yeah, it's very different. Let's see. I got a couple of small things. Read some news articles and some tweets over this past week that apparently Bethesda has doubled down. Starfield will definitely be this year, first half of this year. We'll see. I feel like they're not showing us enough of the game for me to be like, yep, that's definitely happening.
Sure. Yo, play some mine.
But I guess there's some beta testers and some early reviews that are going on there, so we'll see. Good time. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried it myself. I might go ahead and actually, just give it a couple runs just to see. But some people are like, oh, it's been so smoothed out. It feels like Fallout 5. And I'm like, are you sure about that, Chief? I mean, it's been like 4 years. So maybe it is. But it's definitely, like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised, I guess, to see people actually having these positive reviews. Well, yeah, you're radiating because you've been irradiated, Loth.
Literally.
That's
The sun is a deadly laser.
Yeah. No, it's the ultraviolet radiation. It's a thing. Get some lotion on there. Get some aloe vera. Rub some dirt on it. I shouldn't be too unsympathetic. You burned your arms. I touched a hot cook pan and with my fingertips just a little bit.
Yeah.
Was a little too loosey goosey on the oven pad.
Charlie's
Wasn't a glove.
Machine. 25 meters.
Whee!
All right, let's see if I can figure this shit out.
Trying to remember. One of these assholes has a nuclear bomb in their hideout bunker. That's
I'm
really
pretty sure
annoying.
that's Fia. She looks like she's doing
Yeah.
something crazy. Okay, let's see here. We got the pictures.
Yeah.
The first one
Somebody,
is...
you gotta go in and disarm their fucking pocket nuke before you can take them out.
11.
But hey, Loth, it's good that you showed up. You can see if
Number
you
two is
feel like doing stuff.
Squiggle.
Lucky and I were just talking about if we're gonna do some Baritrum after this, maybe, possibly.
Wait, which one's
Or Lucky
fucking
might rob
Squiggle?
banks. I don't know. It's up to him. But yeah, so
What is it, this one?
apparently now that it's been like 4 years and it's free, people like Fallout 76. So we'll see. I might take a crack at it later. I know you played a decent amount of Fallout 4. Have you tried 76 at all, Lucky?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I kind of thought so because it's supposed to be the multiplayer one.
Oh, 25?
I don't think you have to play it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, 25.
The other thing, both as a group and individually you've been doing is playing some Civ 6. There's some references there. It's even in the title.
35.
If you hadn't been on Deathloop, and if you'd asked, I said you maybe even could have played Civ 6 for the stream. That's probably a game you can stream and play and talk because there's a lot of downtime between turns.
Did I do that wrong?
Though also, I don't know, because the game, several of us have had some weird issues with it. Obviously, for me, most of all, because, like I said, my computer's getting a little run out of juice a little bit. But I don't know if it's a... Some of it, I think, is, graphics processing, but other times it's, last time we played for, a good 4 or 5 hours, and then I got disconnected. I got, dumped out from my internet connection, which happens sometimes. Sometimes the internet gets a little spotty in the evenings. But, then it was just a pain in the ass to get the game booted up and, get me resynced, and I don't even know if that was a graphical thing, because it was, I'm watching my task manager just goes on, and I'm like, okay, so Civs running. Steam's running a lot. Steam's using up a lot of CPU and memory. And it just, I guess, my machine didn't have enough juice in all of its silicon parts to sync us back up. It's just weird. I feel like it used to be easier. We used to have no problem doing this. 2 can play this game. Oh no, Lucky, the game's telling you to divide by 0. By the way, if you see something, yes, YouTube is telling me it's freaking out again. It will pass.
Go on, fighter, Kratos. It'll pass.
God damn it. Head. By the way, hey, if you want more of us talking about stuff, go watch God of War. We're having some very productive streams that are very interesting, and it's very interesting what they're doing with characters and stuff. Like how they literally removed all of the other characters for just some one-on-one Freya and Kratos time. This the way? Is it the way? I don't fucking know if it's the way.
Okay. Do I need to keep going down? I bet I do.
I guess the game asking you this the way question mark is their way of telling you it's not the way.
Fucking deep.
Unless it is the way and it's double bluff.
I hear voices.
Did the voices tell you to do things?
Yes.
Josh.
Watch.
Those are some
Watch out.
big pipes.
Who gets
I
the
wonder if I
glory?
can flood this place.
Guy up there.
Want me to answer that?
Ever wonder if you expose too much of your brain, Charlie?
This game can definitely get very, very tense.
Say you want to do that.
See? Lights so far, far away. On a trip. On a long seen your secret face.
Somebody on fire up there?
Yeah, no, she was killing him. I stopped it.
Such fun we're having. Invisible. He's the invisible man. Ah.
How do I go up? Oh, well. Okay.
Whoop. Blah, 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 blah.
I fucked that up.
It were cold.
Oh, Charlie's dead.
Well, sucks for him. The water level's still rising? No, okay, I think it's static. So there is a door open down there that's above water? But it's very close to it.
Oh, shit.
Nope, water going up.
Yeah, no, they're both dead. Okay. I wanted to loot their bodies, though, so...
Oh, it's you. Congrats.
Well,
You killed.
hey, you know,
Nah,
the plan
it
worked.
Used to be me.
Just
sneaking
worked a
me
little too
down
good.
here. Used to be I was the romantic. I think shit changes. Nah, man, just looks different. You and me, well, we're leavers. That doesn't change. Okay, I think I've changed. Can't love anybody. We just. Ooh, there's no fucking we. Fia and Charlie, you think that shit's healthy? I'm talking about you, Colt, and I'm talking about everyone. That's the difference. Lever.
Cole talks with his hands a lot.
Who's the lever now?
It's important in first-person games.
Okay, so I can kill them both with that. I don't know how I did that, though. Really, I don't. I'm confused.
Something happened where I don't know whether you did that by setting up fucking with some stuff, or like they accidentally did it, but definitely the room flooded, so I assume they just drowned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you're supposed to do that, do whatever you did, and then get out.
Yeah.
The question is just not knowing exactly what you did, in fact, do.
I succeeded accidentally.
That happens sometimes. Cole doesn't know what he's doing.
No, Cole really doesn't know what he's doing. He's kind of an idiot.
Well, at least to be fair to him, he has, pretty bad retrograde amnesia. He does not really remember what the fuck is happening.
I find it hilarious when the thing's like, "What's your name?" It's like, "What is my name?" Wait, fuck. Like, Cole's whole deal is kind of hilarious. Just how he does things.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2 visionaries dead.
Sorry, Chad, I'm trying to cool off my slightly burned fingers. They're very tingly. You'd think it being colder again, it'd be easy,
It's
but
night.
all my stuff in my room is warm.
Alright, let's go do this one.
Yes, okay, I took Civ off the list. I feel like we both can and can't talk about Civ at length. It's obviously, you again brought this up off mic, but I want to reiterate it. The one more turn factor, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing some Civ, solo at night to get used to it again and try out some mods and stuff. It's a very solid, gameplay loop of just do this, click that. Okay, I move it, everybody. I can go return. It's fine. Oh, hey, I've got a new age in like 2 turns. I can do those 2 more turns 30 minutes later. But also, playing it a decent amount really makes me feel like, probably why we stopped playing it for a little bit as well, because it's a good game, but there's definitely lots of weird little arbitrary limitations, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's limits on who can build what first or where, constantly competing with people for, great people or world wonders or whatever. There's lots of stuff with like tiles and geography that are weird.
Hey, guys, I have top secret information.
Okay.
Like I've noticed that the game, has this thing with the polar ice that blocks you out of certain areas that can be very restricting, especially if you're playing a Civ that's very water focused. That's me and Loth usually. Loth plays Australia, which likes coastal tiles. Actually, and you play the Japan that likes coastal tiles too. So it's coasts are cool. But you can play both. I really like Stellaris. Civ and Stellaris scratch different itches. Like Stellaris is really cool, and I like a lot of the sci-fi tech stuff. Like I've talked about this at length. I don't want to reiterate too much down to chat and to Lucky because they've heard it all before. But having played some older games that let you get a little weirder with the future tech, I am always slightly disappointed with where Civ 6's tech tree currently ends, where it's just like, the only thing we could do for a science sink is just you launch probes into space and do nothing with them. Or eventually you find a wormhole maybe, or you build a giant death robot and upgrade it a lot. And I'm like, obviously the game is fairly old. When did Civ 6 actually come out? Release 2016. Okay, so the game is been around for quite a while now, with free updates and full-blown season pass and all that stuff. So let's see. Yeah, it's now 2023, so that would be like what, 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know.
For
Hopefully, Civ 7. I know that Firaxis was working on that Marvel Midnight Suns game, which I think people are enjoying. Oddly, it's a weird one to do, kind of like a not quite XCOM, but a little different one. Kind of in those veins. I've seen some gameplay and it seems kind of funny. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with like player character avatars. Seen some people posting about that, so maybe I will go look into that one myself sometime. But maybe with that one released, we can work on Civ 7. Because like I said, I feel like as real life time ticks on, there are lots of reasonable future tech stuff you could do that could actually be interesting, Like, for instance, we just got our, in real life, we just got our first ever self-contained fusion reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing. Obviously, now that's not going to be like building fusion power plants anytime soon. I think some people have said we're still like a decade or two from that becoming a much more mature technology. But still, that's a thing that's like reasonably in the that happened in real life. So you could, figure that out with Civ. And I admit that it's a weird case because it was, so the first ever Civ game I played, I've mentioned this before, but it was Civilization's Call to Power. That was a weird licensed side game that was made with Activision. So much so that they eventually lost the Civ license and had to release as the standalone sequel Call to Power 2, which I do own. I would love to stream it for you, but it's so fucking old it doesn't work really well. It's goofy like that. I've tried to like capture footage before, and OBS doesn't like it. I think it's so old that you can't even do like a borderless window, which usually makes OBS a little bit easier. But like that one has like all of the classic Civ hallmarks of like you start with like settlers and warriors with clubs and stuff. You've got your luxury resources and whatnot. And tile improvements and all that. It had some very interesting subsystems where it actually made slavery a thing.
Oh, interesting.
You could build a slaver unit and capture enemy like workers or pop as slaves, and that would represent population in your cities to let you work tiles. So you could grow your population that way. I never really fucked with that because there is a industrial age wonder you can build called the Emancipation Proclamation.
Huh.
I prefer turn-based 4X for the most part. I mean, I don't mind real-time with pause, but I guess it depends on the context. If we're talking hexes, give me turn-based. Stellaris is the way Stellaris is built, real-time with the different time levels works, but definitely turn-based stuff is plenty interesting. But yeah, so Call to Power had stuff like that. Like, you did not have to build world wonders as squares. They were just called wonders, and some of them could just be, concepts, like I said, like the Emancipation Proclamation and shit like that. And in addition to going through all that normal stuff, they also had, even though that game is... Let me actually see, when did the Power come out?
Better not be cold.
Civilization Call to Power. 1999. Yeah, so Call to Power also had, stuff that you see in modern Civs. It had corporations, in the sense that it had you could build certain governments based around corporations. You could build units exclusive to those to make patents and file injunctions. You could build lawyers as a unit to deploy against enemies. You had missionaries, but also in late game you could build televangelists. So there was a lot of like social combat stuff to work out, that the games kind of have now. But the thing I always really loved about Call to Power was that it had much better use of sea tiles and also eventually had a space layer. And I mean that by, like, you would have a second map layer that was the orbit over your places. So you could build underwater colonies and tie them together with shit like underwater maglevs. Or even on your coastal cities, you could build, underwater mines and stuff.
Neat.
Whereas, like, current Civ 6, it's fairly limited in what you can do to improve sea tiles. It's really just, fishing boats, fisheries, if you get that one governor, oil wells, and I think that might be it.
You can get some offshore power plants and stuff, too.
Yeah, you can get some, like, tidal power generators or wind farms. Yeah, that's true. That's very late game, but yeah. But, like I said, in Call to Power, Civ Call to Power, you could literally, eventually, once you got very underwater versions of most things like mines and farms and stuff, that also had, like, the undersea layer was visible. You could make it visible by researching submarines. You would have to build, like, sonar buoys to look out for undersea units and stuff. And like I said, it had a space layer. So you could use space planes to transport units and drop them off from space. You could have orbital troopers, like, drop in from orbit. There was a wonder you could build called the Space Elevator, right? Which built a space colony directly over the city that built the wonder, and you could also build, like, mass drivers and stuff to fire cargo up into space. So, like, I really liked all that weird shit. There was so much fucking weird shit too. you could, because it also had a pollution and global warming system like modern Civ games do. Again, 1999. It had a lot of stuff that would show up later in later Civs, core Civs. So you could fuck with like sea levels and the terrain, and you could build an eco-friendly government. If you did that and did that certain research, you would get access to eco-terrorists.
Wow.
Up to it, including you could get unlock a device called Project Eden, which lets you build a future VW bug bus that has a nanomachine nuke in it that destroys cities and replaces it with green tiles. You could also build, in the nanotech era, you could build a world wonder called the Nanite Diffuser, where nanomachines eat all nukes. So all nuclear weapons are destroyed and can't be built. All nuclear power plants are shut down, et cetera, et cetera. Like, and I understand the appeal to playing Civ in the... A lot of people really like the ancient and classical era stuff, right? Lots.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, notice how many leaders are like really, really old historical leaders, right? Like, I think...
I'm good.
Gosh, is Teddy Roosevelt like the most modern leader you get in Civ these days? I think he is. Right. So obviously, like, nobody wants to comment too much on real life modern politics, but I feel like I really like the zany near future shit. Like, that's all really cool. I'm a big fan of Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri as well, which has a very diverse tech system and also lets you build weird shit like, you know, undersea colonies and stuff. Also, both of those games, that's another thing Call to Power did. It let you terraform. As you unlocked techs, you could change tiles into other tiles, including building artificial islands and shit, which is something I, once again, miss in Civ 6. I really like playing around with the water game, but... Oh, he's Mountain? I mean, I guess Gandhi's in Civ as well. That's relatively modern. Is Chairman Mountain? I mean, I don't think he's in Civ 6. But like I said, I like the weird shit. I like, and you know, I like ultimately being able to you know, get far enough down in the tech tree that you can like control your environment. Which again, Civ 6 doesn't do. Like it, I like the mods they've or the extra DLC and game modes, I should say, because they aren't modded necessarily to add like weather effects and play around with like volcanoes and stuff. But also, you know, I'd really love like, I don't know, developing some kind of anti-volcano technology. You telling me there's not some dumb science paper that came out about how we can use, you know, something to stop volcanoes? Surely somebody thought of something during the 60s involving nuclear weapons. Seriously, during like the 50s,
Isn't that how
60s, and
Godzilla got
70s.
made, though?
That was just nuclear testing in the Pacific.
Oh.
But you are right. I mean, hey, fuck it. Like I said, I just want the zany shit. Hey, if you want to make fucking Godzilla spawn, that would be a proper use for our giant war robots, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I don't think that Civ games are necessarily very realistic. There's a lot of gameplay conceits in them already, such as the fact that your leader is alive for 5,000 years. You know, so shit like that. That doesn't really come out, and there's a lot of like oversimplifications. I think we can get into the wackier tech stuff. I mean, Civ 6, one of my favorite modes that they added is the Heroes and Legends mode, you know, where you can literally summon mythological heroes who keep coming back.
Life.
Yeah, Himiko's pretty cool. You know, you can summon forth Sun Wukong, whose main power is being really fast and beating people up. You know, you've got access to Maui, Anazi. Mulan's also really good at shit. You know, there's all kinds of this weird shit in there, and I'm like, just please give me the sci-fi bullshit. I want it so bad.
Ooh, pain. Oh, what are you
I
guys
know that
doing
they
back
did
here?
make a spiritual successor to Alpha Centauri, the Beyond Earth, which I haven't tried, but I've also heard some people talk about how it's still not quite as deep in as they could do. I think I check my Steam wish list. I think I missed. I was planning on buying, wow, what is it? It's not Dungeon of the Endless. It's the one of the other Endless games. It's like a 4X. I was planning on picking that up on the winter sale, but I think I might have missed it. Let me double check if it's still on. Once again, not that I need.
Alright, who's the fuck's looking at? Oh, it's you, all the way the fuck up there. Don't look at me. Rude. I'm busy.
Yeah, no, everything's back to full price. I'll catch it a different time. It's okay. I don't need more games.
Whee!
But I have a soft spot for hexes and squares, y'all.
Just gonna kill everybody.
As you do. That's what you do.
Hey, well, I need you to. Oops. Nope. Nope. Take your battery back. No. Okay. Okay.
You take the battery. Endless Legend. Yeah, now it's full price again. Which is a shame, because there's some DLC and stuff. That's okay. You spend more money.
Alright, let's help set up a perimeter here. So if anyone comes running
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing. Aaron just said that he found Beyond Earth to be a little buggy. I definitely feel like Beyond Earth was really hyped up, and it didn't actually, you know, it seemed to go over as much as people wanted it to, so it didn't necessarily get all the support. I think I own it. I should install it. Well, actually, I don't know if I should install it sometime. I'll run out of space. Let's create some juice.
Ooh. Oh, come on.
You know, it's funny. It's been a while since I've played this game, but I still feel like I know that exact spot you're camping in with that turret. I'm like, yeah, I think I set up a turret in that corner and killed a lot of dudes there myself. I think it's a natural choke point. It happens.
It is, but apparently these guys got fucking grenades now, so they're using them.
What a bunch of piss babies throwing grenades. Who does that?
I don't. I almost
grenades?
never use the fucking grenades, even though they give them to me.
I don't really remember using grenades in this game either. I think, well, it's because they're fucking noisy. Deathloop is definitely one of those games where you can't... The game gives you the tools to go full rampage mode all the time, but if you can stealth and do it right, that can be way easier.
Well, like I said, you're very fucking squishy.
Yeah.
You go down quick, unless you have, like, a super specific build to, you know... Did they already ransack my place? They did. Let me see if they
Yeah,
got...
they do that like the afternoon or something.
See if I can find nails in here, though.
I think you do usually own a few nails in your apartment.
Yeah, because the, you get the blue, Would I have new messages? Oh.
Probably somebody taunting you.
Yeah, Charlie. I should have just... God, the fucking little shit.
Yep, that's Charlie.
Chili fucking Montague. Cuts out half his brain so he can make a robot.
Robot. I mean, everybody here's crazy.
No, my beer tap! Why? Why is this injustice allowed to percolate?
I'm sure it's because they stole all your beer.
They probably did steal all my beer. Fuck, I guess I don't got any nails in here. Yeah, you stole it already. I already got that shit. Okay. I need fucking nails because...
That's your sneak gun, yeah. I feel like that's happened to me a few times in this game. Run out of nails.
Screw you. Who is right there? What the fuck is this?
Isn't that those guys getting fucking high in this room?
Oh yeah, looks like it. Drugs.
Yeah, it's those guys.
Oh, this is some
I
sort
think
of
that's
party
a-
shit.
It's a side quest thing. Those guys fucking melt their brains at like night, and they've each got one of the passcodes you need to figure out to unlock their secret stash or something. Yeah, I don't think Beyond Earth had as much soul as Alpha Centauri did. The original Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri has a fuck ton of soul. Like, just the quotes in the little videos that I love. Call to Power also had the little video things when you build a wonder. God. We Must Descent. And now we're going to see if there's a lot of We Must Descent in chat. I'm not going to say universally older games were better, because sometimes they aren't. But I definitely kind of feel like mainline Civilization got very rounded out. Very streamlined. I'd love to see them try a game where they experiment with their formula a little and mix it up. That doesn't happen a super lot with big title mainline franchises these days, though. There's, I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but, I've seen articles and takes and stuff about, like, why are all games the same? I don't even think that all AAA games are the same. I know a lot of people are feeling like this, but I feel like they're just not checking out games enough. There are quite a lot of different things going on, but instead of, it's just, I can see why people feel like that, because there's definitely some very samey trends in marketing, and it's resulted in, I think, some lackluster titles. Like, how many people were super hyped for Battlefield 2042, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot. It had kind of a buggy, glitchy beta. I know I saw a lot of, like, content creators and stuff, play it and be like, well, this game is fun. It's kind of unhinged, but it's fun. But, like, for normal gameplay purposes, as far as I understood, it's kind of a weird, goofy game because, like, they added all these, really engine-heavy weather effects and shit, and they've done all this silly stuff like change all the numbers on guns by 1. You can actually get a 46 in the game, Why do you play 4 or 5? Does it make a 46? Guess again.
Don't need it.
That's right, Colt. Don't need it.
Yep, Cold talks or something. Lets you the player know stuff. But there's definitely stuff like that where games don't feel like they're breaking out. Those rumors or insider notes or leaks or whatever persist that there is in fact gonna be a quote unquote Horizon Zero Dawn remake, not made by Guerrilla, at least is where the rumors are going. Guerrilla's not working on that. They're working on DLC Call of the Mountain and presumably game number 3, because that's another thing that happens a lot these days is that, single player games are still being made to be franchised. With while they resolve their own stories, they're also very clearly doing open-ended shit so they can make more games. But there's, like, the concept of them, and we talked about this when that rumor first came out, the concept of remaking Horizon Zero Dawn, a game that's only like 5 years old, is like, damn. It's really weird. It doesn't help that the industry is really weird about what counts as a quote-unquote remake, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we as the consumer can probably tell what's a remake and what's not. Well, Final Fantasy VII Remake, definitely a remake. That is a completely new game, rebuilt from the ground up, vaguely following some of the same story beats, but also doing its own thing, telling new elements and stuff. It's a really interesting, exciting time. For comparison, Crisis Core Reunion, that should probably be phrased as a remaster. Some people might call it a remake because they did alter the combat system a little, and stuff. And obviously, technologically, a lot of the game is new. They, remastered the soundtrack. They redid the voice track. They, updated everybody's models. But fundamentally, the game is still Crisis Core. It's just, more polished.
Yeah.
And then obviously there are, re-releases and ports and just, putting them on different engines and stuff, which still happens a decent amount of time.
Ooh, there's 2 turrets here. Hella. Let's use that shit.
Yep, always be using everything. So I don't know if what these, like, rumors or leaks mean by a Horizon Zero Dawn remake as, like, do they just mean that, like, they're gonna do a new, HD model pass, and you know, maybe incorporate some different gameplay elements that were in the sequel. Not that I feel like... I mean, melee combat was way better in Forbidden West. They did actually do some serious system improvements in there, but I don't really know how you could otherwise, like, retune the gameplay of Zero Dawn, because most of the new gameplay in, whatchamacallit, Forbidden West is all, like, based on new gadgets you get, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you can go back and retcon that shit in. So yeah, it just feels like more logical that it's just going to be an HD update, which I can understand why, you know. The news is, you know, it's been all over the news outlets over this past week as well. Sony is saying, and other people are saying for sure, this is it. This is the end of the PS5 supply shortage. It's officially over. You know, you should be able to find PS5s now. And I definitely feel like quite a few people I know who were looking for them did get them over the holiday season. So it hopefully is actually, you know, panning out.
Oh, this is hella British. We're talking about fucking fish and chips here.
Go for some fish and chips. I mean, I don't want to be on the side of the soulless corporations or whatever, but not every developer is actually soulless. I think a lot of decent AAA studios are actually, like, trying hard and have something to say with their games. There's a lot of really cool games to play, like God of War Ragnarok. That's a AAA game. I'm having a load of fun with that. That's got a lot of really interesting things. It does, however, have some slight issues with its dev cycle, because of the way, you know, games are and how long they take. You know, cycle on what the audience and the shareholders are expecting from a AAA, you know, full-priced game, according to industry experts, right? That takes about 6 years to do. So if you were to start completely fresh on a brand new IP and release a game that is what people were expecting, you would probably be releasing that as we were getting close to the next generation of consoles. Maybe not exactly there. We know this generation is going to be long because of the supply chain issues. Loads of games are still being made for, like, the previous generation because there aren't enough of the new gen out there. So you're going to get some weird stuff like that. But it's a really long cycle. And I would love if game designers could tighten that up a little. And they can sometimes. Like, if you're doing sequels, right, you can get a lot tighter. God of War Ragnarok, you know, took much less time to develop than the 2018 God of War. It seems like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to take less time than Remake to develop because, you know, once you've got your core engine stuff out there and you've got a lot of your, you know, your initial wave of art assets, you can just churn out, you know, new mechanics in engine, make new models, write new dialogue pretty well. But this is probably why you see a lot of big game, you know, sponsorship companies investing in a lot of these remakes and remasters and re-releases, because that lets them put stuff out to keep buying time for them to actually develop new content. Because I think a lot of these big companies understand that they can't necessarily sell you the same game over and over again. Like, if you'll buy the same game over and over again, they'll sell it to you. That's fucking Nintendo's whole business plan. And lots of other games over the years have done that, like just reiterating selling you the same thing over and over. Like his BRB, by the way, so I'm just going to keep talking my point. But a lot of games have made that their market, but I think that they understand that eventually that will not work. Either the player base will age out, or, you know, they'll lose tension, or they will just run out of people who can make that game because they wanted to go do something else. I mean, I don't think God of War's hand-holding at all. I mean, there are parts of the in-game commentary that is a little, like, obvious, but no, I haven't felt like the actual, like, puzzle dialogue or anything is hand-holding at all. I am kind of, like I said, it's funny and annoying sometimes how, like, we made the joke earlier about how Mary is like, Kratos, you're on fire. It'll pass. Yeah, Santa Monica, you probably could have coded that to proc literally the first time and not all the time. because I should learn from your game that what being on fire is. But like I said, I don't really. Yeah, I don't really classify God of War Ragnarok as handholdy. Like, if you're paying attention to environmental cues, NPCs will sometimes stand by where you need to go, or they'll look where you need to go. They might say, hey, what's this thing over there, when they're trying to prompt you to look at something. But if you're actually playing the game at a steady pace, keep in mind that I'm playing the game while fucking streaming too, so I'm like talking to Lucky in chat and stuff. Sometimes this means I'm very dumb and can't see what the fuck I'm doing, but most of the time I find it perfectly okay and don't feel like it's holding my hand. I don't know. Lots of people said they had the handholdy experience, so I don't know exactly how everybody is playing it all the time, but
Yeah, no.
I felt like it on my level of stream brain, it seems to hit the right balance where it doesn't feel like it's too annoying and too handholdy for me or the audience, but also it's got enough there so that when like somebody says something goofy in chat or Lucky says something to me and we have a conversation and then I snap back to the gameplay and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't feel lost, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know. So like I said, I can't say that other people's subjective experiences are incorrect, but I have not been having that experience with Ragnarok.
Jesus.
There are a lot of eyes. Well, I know, Axe, you had some buggy stuff with quest stuff. Well, yes. That second thing, though, is the other thing we were talking about with Ragnarok. Ragnarok does have a super condensed story because Santa Monica, I think, and maybe Sony made the conscious decision to be like, okay, we've kind of sketched out 3 games worth of plot points. We don't want to actually develop 3 games. I don't know if that was just because they didn't feel like they could do enough with the gameplay to be variant, or, like I said, even with condensed development time for sequels, they don't want to be developing this game, you know, this to be the only thing they do this entire console generation, right? So they decided to go with 2 and then go move on to something else. I don't know what they're doing right now. There wasn't really any major paid DLC for God of War 2018, was there?
No.
Yeah, so I assume that means they're just straight up moving on to a new game. Will it be another, a further God of War? I mean, probably eventually, but maybe they'll be working on something else as well. Like with Guerrilla, for instance, I know that they're working on a 3rd Horizon game. I mean, because that's how Horizon Forbidden West ends. It's like, well, we're still not fucking done. Like, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if it will end at 3 games, right? Like, I feel like the way those games are written, those stories are written, we could do another thing where we solve the fucking problem and then we just do it again, right?
Right.
We'll probably see some of that foreshadowing because Horizon does have paid DLC, which is usually actually, like, story stuff that sets up for the next game, so probably whatever we do in the LA area, you know, that'll lead us into the next game. But I don't know what Guerrilla is doing there, which personally I find kind of a shame because me and lots of other people, would like to remind Sony and Guerrilla that at one point they were making a single-player sci-fi shooter game, sci-fi first-person shooter, that were pretty cool and have a very distinct aesthetic, and they haven't made one of those in a while, and they haven't made a good one of those in a longer while. I said it. Chad, I paid $8 for Killzone Shadowfall, and I regret doing so. I would have much preferred to have played $0 for that game, which you can do right now thanks to the expanded PlayStation Plus collection. Some of you may find paying $0 for it is too much. It's very rough in a lot of places. I suspect that Sony really wanted a killer launch game for PS4, and it really wasn't that much of a killer.
Oh, it killed plenty of people.
Well, yeah, you do kill a lot of people, but I also got killed quite a bit, and it had some weirdness. Like I said, I would love to see Guerrilla take some of their design sense and like some of the technological improvements to FPS games and make like I guess you'd probably number it Killzone 4. I mean, 3, I feel like they made 3 to like do what every video game series was doing. We plan out the trilogy, we go to the 3rd game. The 3rd game is a huge fucking escalation, you know, it ends with us doing, you know, fucking nuclear shit and blowing up half the Helghan and stuff. And it's like, all right, we've done it. We've won the war forever. Well, the planet's not gone, is the thing, because you go back there in Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, I probably need to.
It's just really fucked up and people can't live there, for the most part. There are some people sitting there, but it's not really long-term habitable. But, like, I still think they did enough interesting stuff in... The writing of Shadowfall is really weird. It could have been a lot more interesting, but I feel like they weren't ready to commit to the story beats. Because the plot of Killzone Shadowfall basically boils down to... So after Killzone 3, where, the Helgen are building super space nukes to nuke Earth. You turn their super space nukes on them and blow up the planet. And a shitload of Helgen die. All the remaining Helgen are invited to live on... I forget the name of it, but it's the planet from the first Helgen.
Oh, hey, that was him. Cool.
Very interesting right there. You know.
The fuck? He was
So
just
you,
there.
boy. It do be like that sometimes. Blip.
Oh,
That
and
definitely
there's,
shows up the thing you mentioned earlier that these guys are basically glorified mooks sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if you get the drop on them, they're not hard. It's just you got to string them together to make it count.
God, this guy just has so many mooks though. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean they show this off a lot in the trailers. I feel like the party is supposed to be like a very big climax. Like you're supposed to get a lot of guys to come to the party, and you just have a big rager.
Oh.
Blip, 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 blip. You've been blipped.
Well, I feel like these guys are spawning somewhere. That's the thing.
I mean, they could be.
It's like there's people coming fucking behind me, and this is the room I came from, where there's fucking nobody.
Yeah.
So.
Well, some of that guy who killed you at least came from the outside courtyard, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of all over the place. Well, yeah. So, during that up, Lettuceman, what Killzone Shadowfall does is the Helgen get relocated because, you know, as the player character, you kind of sort of maybe did a little bit of a war crime. Like, I know they were going to use the space nukes on us, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should, you know, obliterate 90% of their population either. So the remaining tiny Helgen minority get moved to the planet and put in, like, you know, segregated blocks and stuff. And so you play a like, special forces soldier. They tried to have a little bit more of a sneak emphasis, more stealthy, less, you know, squad-based and war-based, kind of working between the two. And the player character kind of starts building up a relationship with some, you know, special forces, you know, guys on the Helgen side, you know, to actually, like, go somewhere and do something to prevent war from breaking out. And you're kind of caught between the fact that the upper echelons on both sides, for the most part, really don't want actual peace and reconciliation to happen. They want to either, you know, wipe out all the Helgen or wipe out all the normal guys because there's all this war stuff. I feel like you could do something more interesting with that, but I don't know. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of modern media really misses the opportunity for a solid, actual Cold War style narrative. The Star Wars sequel trilogy really fucked this up. They could have, like, really gotten into the nitty-gritty of an actual, like, Cold War type scenario. Star Killer Base is the Cuban Missile Crisis. There are proxy wars and shit. But no, they went for, like, no, the First Order is just as huge as the Empire. They can fight everybody all the time. It's all big boy war all the time. Which was a terrible idea. Thematically, you very easily could have moved because the original trilogy of Star Wars was very much inspired by World War II set movies set during World War II. You could have actually, like, thematically moved that on, but that would require us to have had a vision longer than, you know, 2 hours into the future.
Oh shit! Recover health when you damage enemies. That's pretty sick. I am on my way out, but I want to know. I got stuff I want to save.
It's true. Saving is important.
Now I got no respawns. And I need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, but basically, Killzone Shadowfall kind of turned it into the other thing we
that
do
way.
too much, which is turned itself into a war on terror analogy, which is really weird because the Helghast weren't terrorist. I mean, like I know that they do some terrorism in the game, but like the Helghan were space Nazis before that. Like we don't need to do the terrorism allegory.
Oh, here we go. This is the way out. Don't break your knees. Don't break your knees. Don't break your knees. Knees secure.
What is your knee level? Let me. Do you take fall damage in this game? No.
You do.
Okay.
You do. I have fallen to my death before.
Okay. So it's just not. It's reduced fall damage. All right. You don't have ankles of steel. Like Yagami does. I tweeted about that. I was just trying to see what happened. There was a ledge. I took a walk off like a 4-story building. Perfectly fine. Ankles, invincible.
Oh, were there more? Even more ballistic turrets? There were. I need to remember that.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple in like a storage room. Well, that'll be handy for next time. This is a knife.
Well, that was
I
fun.
think I've tried to sneak in here before. Yeah, I think sneaking this is
Faster
hard.
in this asshole.
But shooting is also hard.
All right.
It definitely feels like a big climaxy room.
I
That's
think I
very
took
important.
out 5 of 8. I think that's my best so far.
It's pretty good. We're learning.
All right, time to end this loop and see what's left.
I just need to play. I bought the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech computer RPG a while back. I should run that sometime. Though I would once again probably have to make room because I'm slipping out of gigs on my PC. We need to clean up some of my files. At some point, I should remember when they offer me a short sale on it to get the paid version of CC Cleaner that has all the extra ones. All that performance enhancing and cleanup stuff.
Ah, yeah, performance enhancing.
I have used vanilla free CC Cleaner for a number of years to like track random registry crap and just bulk files you've got in your backdrop. So it's done me pretty good over the years. But they like lots of people have lots of extra features that are restricted behind paying for a license. But they seem pretty good. Probably do it sometime. But like there's a lot of stuff going on with like big game development titles, and obviously some things are going places. And I mean, not all remakes are bad. Like the Dead Space remake that's upcoming, that's an actual remake. Like they are significantly changing the feel of that game because they are starting like we're redoing it with the characterization that we saw from Isaac in later games where he speaks. So like that's going to change the pacing of certain cutscenes. That's going to change the tone of things. That's going to change a little bit of Isaac as a character. And it from the trailers anyway, it does look like they did actually rebuild some sequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though the like 18 minutes of gameplay they showed off in early December, or maybe it was late November. But that extended look, that was all gameplay-wise basically the same as it was in the start, just with some extra freaky-deaky jump scares. And, the engine is prettier, and Isaac says stuff. But like that is absolutely a remake.
Oh shit! What are all
I
these?
also got to be. I mean, there are
Oh,
times.
reach upgrade.
Also, I know a lot of people complain about like, oh, there's too many remakes and sequels and stuff. Where are all the new games? But also, the internet can't have its cake and eat it too. Like, whenever we try and launch a new game, the internet is so insufferable about it. Like fucking, like people yelling at Forspoken. They're just like, oh, you need more dialogue. Well, it turns out you can turn down the dialogue.
Alright.
Like, even I found some of the constant commentary a little annoying, but I think part of that was just some of your dialogue was very handholdy. It was like, well, maybe you can get punched less. Thank you, Magic Bracelet. I have been playing the game for 5 minutes. But like I said, they literally have an option. They understand, and hey, you can turn this to minimal. It can literally only be to advance the plot. And gameplay-wise, it looks really rad. Though I myself, and I know some people have talked about how it seems like there's going to be a lot of spell stuff to switch around.
It's always a trial to find that sweet spot of too little or too much.
Yeah. And, I mean, I feel like, again, to reference back to Judgment, I feel like Ryuga Gotoku has they've got a very golden formula for giving you depth of gameplay, which is mini games. Like the core gameplay of that game is very focused. You are either punching dudes, and you only have in the default game anyway 2 styles in which to punch dudes. Which are also honestly not that different. It's mostly just that like Crane has a lot more sweep kicks, and then there's some more fun bullshit you can do in Tiger to really do big damage to guys who have big health bars. And other than that, you just wander around and talk to people, and everything else is like, like if you want to be technical, I would say that the active searching mode and the chase scenes are almost like whatchamacallit. Like those are basically like mini games, right? Because those don't operate the way that the default open world gameplay and punching does. Chases, you have additional button inputs to dodge guys. You're constantly sprinting. You don't need to interact with it at all and stuff. And so, you go through the sequence. The active search mode, sometimes you can walk around, but sometimes you're fixed, and you have a lot of different, like, zooming in on stuff. Obviously, there's, dialogue choices as well for some things that you can work on. And then it's just like, hey, you want to kill some time, get some extra points, you want to be cool at dates? Play darts. Play the Crane game. Play, fucking House of the Dead. Play Virtua Fighter. And obviously, not every game can do that, Sega has a lot of old arcade branding to lean on there. And stuff like that. But I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake is very similar in that regard, right? Like, they have the default of, like, okay, here's the RPG gameplay. And then there's like, okay, let's mix it up a little. Do squats. Or do a motorcycle segment. And it's not like that was untrue to the original Final Fantasy VII. That had plenty of its own mini games that I hope to re-see. I hope we can, once again, snowboard as Cloud. But it's a thing that, like, adds a way to break up the constant gameplay loop action, and that seems to be a thing that, like, games are not always the best at these days. Like, that seemed to be a major issue about, like, whatchamacallit? Callisto Protocol, that's the name I'm thinking of. A lot of people said in reviews that it was like, hey, do you like this core gameplay loop? If not, you will not like this game, because it only has this core gameplay loop. You can only be dodging and punching space zombies. That's it. That's the only thing we got. And obviously, I think there were a couple of different things that you discovered both on the stream and later. Like some interesting environmental stuff you can fuck with and shit like that. But in general, a lot of it was a lot of the same core gameplay mechanic. And if you weren't okay with that, you're kind of limited. But there are still lots of good games coming out, and honestly, if you're looking for games, all the time and want to play all the games, yeah, you're gonna run into a lot of stuff that seems, samey or doing a lot of the same monetization schemes. I feel like especially a lot of free-to-play games feel very samey because they're all playing to the same, like, tried and true methods to keep you invested and make you spend money.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to innovate. That's probably why you see a lot of innovation in more single-player leaning games. Sorry, Chad, I've dropped my mouse pad. Oh, there it is. I don't want to accidentally run it over with my chair, and also it's good for my wrist. But, you see a lot of innovation there. And that's not to say that you can't have innovation in some games that are technically like a service. Like, for all it fundamentally is, which is, a visual novel with a very bare-bones RPG element to it, like, FGO is doing a very decent job of, like, innovating on its own gameplay and doing new things and, like, slowly advancing its tech level despite the fact that it's all the same game, right?
Right.
Like, we're constantly talking about how, ooh, they really, spruced up the visual effects here. We've got animated scenes, blah, blah, blah. and that can definitely happen. I think that while I haven't experienced the full breadth of that growth, I feel like Final Fantasy XIV is another example of that. As a technically MMOs or live service games, like they definitely did things to expound upon the depth of their content and the variety of the stuff they can do, and kind of like keep you coming back from a simple formula to the point that they've actually gone back and reverse engineered some old content. This is something we run into on stream all the time when I was going back and doing like story dungeons and other stuff, where like we'll all be partied up and Loth will be like, okay, so has anybody done the remixed version of this fight? And you will sometimes be like, no. And even though you've put roughly a bajillion hours into the game, you won't really necessarily know what's different about the fight either, right?
Nope.
Because they remixed it, and you don't have to go back and do that stuff. So it's very intriguing to see them do those things correctly. I think Destiny 2 is probably another game that's kind of doing that, where I feel like obviously people are still playing it, so it must be doing something to keep them invested and actually keep iterating on the gameplay. Warframe is probably another one of those games that like has longevity for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of live service games do miss the mark and kind of fade into the background. Anthem, it seems like Babylon's Fall is going to go the same way. And whether that was like Square pushed Platinum too hard to make it a live service game, or like Platinum was like, hey, let's make a fucking multiplayer Platinum action game. Where will that go? What can we do with that? And they just didn't have any good ideas. Because that can happen too, guys. It's not always corporate's fault. Sometimes game designers just don't have good ideas. No, I don't mean like a hard mode. Like, I mean like just they just improved the gameplay and like refined it. I don't necessarily think that like in 14, for instance, the fights are any harder. They just have mechanics and concepts that show up later in the game introduced, earlier and reworked, because they've had 10 years to develop this game and get better at it. Which can definitely be a move for why I think some, like, the studios are down for lots of remakes and sequels and spiritual successors, right? Because practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, this is the thing, right? Like I said, online, some people were like, they saw that trailer for Judas and were like, oh, Ken Levine's making another BioShock game. How original. And I'm like, well, yes, actually, the setting does seem a little different, and it seems like they're doing interesting story-wise, but the man's made several of these games. He's had a lot of years to practice. People generally like those games. They like to play them at least, so perfecting the formula is good. I suspect that as a more action-leaning RPG mechanically, Final Fantasy 16 will probably be pretty tight, because Square's gotten a lot of practice at that lately. And that's not to say that games can't backslide. I still think that gameplay-wise, Kingdom Hearts has never been quite as good as Kingdom Hearts 2. Hopefully 4 can get us back there. Also, yes, by the way, don't forget, Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. That's a real thing. But yeah. I know a lot of people are jaded about a lot of games and stuff, but I still feel like I look at the list of like games coming out, all the months in the year, and I'm like, there's still like 2 or 3 good games to play here. And honestly, like, some games aren't for me, but I think they're, other people will enjoy them. And I don't know who has the time to fucking... Well, I think that has to do with like... So, the concept of difficulty levels and stuff is really interesting, and I don't want to delve too much into philosophical. It's already like 9 o'clock, and I gotta run an audio edit on this. OBS has been better, but it's still a little buggy. So if we want to do some barotrauma later, we need to like circle up the wagons before we get too deep into this. But mechanically, difficulty modes are very interesting, and I just trying to remember what exactly. But I feel like you have mentioned this a couple of times about some games with like their difficulty. It's always another one of those weird balancing factors, because like sometimes when you increase the difficulty, the game just cheats. Civ is a good example of that, of a game we've been playing lately. Yes. Civ just fucking cheats. AI, when you rate them harder, just do shit that's fucking impossible. And that's how they outplay human players. In that context, that you just have to take more tries at it to finish it out. I think the best like increased difficulty levels are where either you actually have the technology to make your AI like smarter and more responsive, but that's also really hard. I know. Kicked a lot. Which, considering the xenomorph is a classic, horror movie monster, makes sense, but not always fun to play. Lucky's resetting.
I don't know why. My back was to a wall, so I don't know who the fuck was shooting me.
At the top of the stairs? I don't remember how shooting through things works in this game. But, like, I think that's always, most people would agree, that's always the most fun of the hard, increased difficulty. But that can be complex to program because if you think about it, right, like...
OBS is constantly connecting, disconnecting, by the way.
Yeah, OBS is pretty bad. Again, I'll wrap my thought up and then we should probably get out of here. I'm looking at my list and I don't really have a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind polling you on some more anime and manga stuff, but a note to what we call these days accessibility. Like, you're trying to hit a broader audience, Like, obviously, having an easy mode means that you're going to have players who are maybe more casual or aren't used to these kinds of games or don't play games a lot who are willing to pick up your game and try it out. And harder modes appeals to people who are very, very well versed. Hey, I was right. They do steal all your beer. It works in the morning, but it doesn't work at night. It's the little things, chat. The little details. Extra effort goes a long way. But, like, harder modes of difficulties... Sometimes that comes across as that's genuinely how difficult the game designers intended the game. You'll hear this a lot, right? Where some games are like, oh, you're actually supposed to play this hard mode or whatever, right? I always remember the famous line that about Halo that they always say Bungie meant for you to play it on heroic, which is the hard difficulty, one up from normal. Not legendary. That's the spicy hard mode.
Don't need it.
But, like, so sometimes that's the balance point, but other times I feel like hard modes are just included because they know, the game designers know that there's a market for people who either will play their game loads of hours or have already played games like theirs for loads of hours, right? And so those guys are going to be really good at this game, and they're going to need, like, an extra handicap, basically, to hold them back and keep them from just breezing through your game. And keep it enjoyable, Most people don't like to play games, these kinds of interactions of skill, brain, etc., right? That are just too easy, Like, Lucky's been jobbed out a little in this game, but Lucky, do you think you'd have a lot of fun if it was easy for you to just fucking walk through and shoot, Alexi in the face, right? If nobody tried to fuck with you?
Sorry, I'm just laughing. I shot that and Cole just sings songs, Electrical Man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good character in this game.
Like, bleh. It's like, personally, I'm not against, having an easy time, but not having an easy time all the time. If I put in the effort to grow my character to be a fucking, a fucking juggernaut, then yes, I want to be able to breeze through challenges, like specific challenges that, my Juggernaut is good against.
Yeah. Mechanical adjustments. And a lot of RPGs end up this way without necessarily having difficulty sliders because it's all about the stat lines.
Yeah, no, because I am definitely a person, like, I like to overgrind. I like to, find all that cool stuff, I'll do all the side quests and I'll go into the final boss, like, completely overswole. And I'm like, yes, I like that. But in the moment, like, before, like, in moments like this, like, I don't necessarily think that this game is, like, too hard. Like I said, I am a little upset about my lack of ability in some things, but, like, oh, hang on. But, like, I do not, okay, I think I got away from this. I do not want the game to hand me the victory, I think is the way I want to put it.
Yeah, and that's the...
Like,
if I was trying to phrase it, like, you actually, no, I have a better analogy then. You would not enjoy it if what's his face Alexi like walked up to you, tapped you on the shoulder, and was like, "Kill me, bro."
No,
that would be kind of weird and anticlimactic.
Yeah. No, like, if in this game I could, like, throw on body armor or get, like, 2 fucking machine guns and stuff, and I had to go do several quests to do that so I could, just bulldoze through the mansion all willy-nilly. Yeah, I'd enjoy that because I had to do all that setup and preparation myself. That's another reason why I like this game. It's, I'm doing a lot of side work to make things easier for me. It's just
No,
I'm just not I just can't do all the things I actually want. Like I can't be like, you know, actually let's see, I did that one. Oh, I got 2 more left to do. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's a difference I think between mechanical constriction and from difficulty levels and challenge constriction. Some of the things in this game about the mechanics are meant to make it more difficult, more focused, make you like really plan things out, know what you're doing ahead of time. Others I think are just engine conceits. Like I don't actually think the freezing water is, you know, like an integral part of the game or its challenge. It's just like, fuck, we want to do this on an island so we don't have to like figure out like why people don't just fucking leave, you know? What do we do? But how do you not just make it so you have to develop like swimming physics, which are notoriously really freaky in games? The water's freezing cold. If you're in it for too long, you die.
So it's not just a drill.
So that lets them create instant death pools. I would prefer, you know, if it was shallow or if it was just like a damage over time or something. Yeah, fuck that guy. Designs of this game are so fucking weird. Why was that guy entirely spray painted gold from head to toe? We'll never know.
I can live without knowing.
Listen, that's his fashion choice. I don't agree with it, but it's his choice. He woke up this morning and chose that.
Does that? I wonder if he actually chooses different colors then. Oh, did you hear that?
I don't know. I assume enemies do have some variants. I never really clocked all their models, but I assume they are different between loops. So yeah, I guess you can technically pick different outfits. Cole never changed.
I'm not here.
Jacket.
Oh, this is gonna go badly. Help me, turret!
There's a lot of motherfuckers.
Like, people just fucking appear, and it bugs me sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
I think they're like, most of them are like waiting somewhere specific for an alert phase, but they are just like waiting in rooms you can't get at to murder them. If I'm remembering rightly, Deathloop is definitely one of those games where it's like, when you go to alert phase, you just get extra assholes from the asshole dimension.
Oh, turrets are still doing the good work. Thank you.
But yeah, programming difficulty levels can be very interesting, and it's one of those things, right, where like a lot of people talk about, oh, does FromSoft need an easy mode? Not necessarily. I mean, their games would possibly be more purchasable if they were. But they don't have any kind of like difficulty levels. The game is as hard as it is, right? It's all balanced around one singular difficulty level. The game just exists at that level. If that's too much of a gut check for you, they're okay with that loss of audience to preserve like their single experience. And not always, but usually fine-tune it a decent amount. I know that all of the FromSoft games have some kind of exploit in them. Some kind of bullshit you can do or find or do something, you know, or some stat that's better than all the others. But like, it still takes effort for people to figure that out and like disseminate that information.
And disseminate they will.
Oh yeah.
All right.
No, dissemination of information is not perfect. This is a really weird one, but this is something funny and slightly annoying, but also just interesting to me from being in this hobby a long time. So in Judgment, there's lots of gifts you can buy for girls. And I have been looking online for just a simple like spreadsheet of like what items what girls like. There's some stuff you can telegraph, like, you know, Donald really likes anything heart-shaped, for instance. The fortune teller lady, you know, she likes anything labeled mature. But a lot of these things you can buy have very ambiguous descriptions in them, and I'm just like, surely there's a simple like game FAQs guide that has like this charted out. No, actually, I can't find that anywhere. Like, there are lots of places online that just say, oh, this is the best gift for this girl, but I'm very surprised to not find an old school style breakdown of just like, this gives you this gives you affection points, this gives you points, and I'm like, this is weird. I feel like that's just like usually how we format things, but I guess it's just like, now we just tell you the most optimal one and we leave it. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to go for a variety, I guess, but sure. Oh, there's those two assholes. I remember them. They're just trying to dig into that wall all day. I think that turns into a shortcut in the next time period.
It may. All right, I think I'm clear. Yeah.
Giant fucking deco head. Why? Don't know.
like I said, it's that weird, like, this is the shit, like, this was the shit that was getting wild around the fucking time that the Beatles were getting super fucking popular.
Yeah. And I don't, like, they've got the candy bar. I think that's just a name, like bartender, but it could also just be a candy bar. I don't know.
I mean,
place
it
is weird.
is a candy bar, but I think the candy is drugs.
True. Also very 60s and 70s.
Yes, that's what I need. I need the cargo container code. Okay.
Something like that. All right, okay. We've been talking for like 2.5 hours.
Ooh, that one's nice. Reload speed.
I mean, I feel like most of the ladies in Judgment are fairly straightforward. It's just that the when I go to the gift shop at La Marche, my good friend the Suitman doesn't tell me all the points. Okay, this ring is sophisticated, but this ring is mature. This ring is elegant? I don't know what the fuck that means.
Like real
It's shaped like a heart. That's straightforward. Sana likes hearts. Got it. Okay. I understand. That's her thing. I think the poor girl who gets kidnapped and you rescue her, she has a smartwatch. She likes one of the watches. Okay, cool. Other shit? God, there's so many fucking earrings. I don't even know. But yeah, that kind of, I think, goes to that comment about dissemination. People will disseminate the information. They'll figure it out and they'll spread it.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Not that it matters. I closed Chrome for a second. But like I said, I think I got most of my little bit stories. I didn't have a super lot to talk about today. And like I said, OBS has been all over the place. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here if you are.
Okay. Well, let me bring my tabs back real quick. I can see if anybody yells at me last second in chat. Chrome, you okay there, buddy? Remember? Recently closed tabs? There you go, okay. I guess I didn't click it right the first time. Okay, but now that I'm back in the thing, we're right in the vibing. We'll go ahead and vib on out of here.
Vib.
You failed the vib check. So, hey, if you're watching this video and you like it on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. I think most of you did. Thank you. Make sure if you've got any comments, leave in the comment section down below. Do you think Deathloop is cool? Yes, no. Let me know. You can also subscribe to the channel to get more of this and more of our other stuff, like, I don't know, Monday streams, God of War. We'll be back. I don't know what realm they'll send me after Vanaheim, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Fun. Scare quotes. So check it out. We're having fun. That fun was not ironic. I do actually. I'm having a good time. The game is good. But anyway, subscribe for more. You can join our channel membership, get access to membership badges and emotes, so you can display in our live chat and other fun stuff. And you can also support us on Patreon, get that audio version, so that you can enjoy without the occasional skipping and jumping. Which, if OBS was actually disconnecting, maybe in the final version of the video. It is weird like that sometimes. Hope it's not too choppy. But that's everything there. We'll see you guys next week from our What's Up. Make sure to go ahead and check out Let's Talk FGO, which came out earlier today if you hadn't already. And I don't got anything else to say, so that'll be good eventide, everybody.
Good evening tide. See you next time. Spin to win.